Well, we had that conversation just with that one property you got listed. You gave me the A to Z on it. I called the client, and we had very open dialogue. And that way, it's, again, to your point, the client knows that there's a team.
Yep.
It's not, I'm going to my mortgage guy, I'm going to my lawyer, I'm going to the realtor. It's, no, this is part of the Sasha Homes group in this particular city. Welcome to Houses to Homes with Eric SPADA. Today we have Sasa Stevanovic from Keller Williams Signature. Glad to have you here, Sasha. Thank you for joining us. We met about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, just through social media. You're local to my area of Binbrook. We're localites, if you will. You've been in the business now 8 years, 7 years?
7 and change,
7 and change. And you know what really struck me to you when we first met was I social media DM'd you, I think it was, and you immediately said, call me. And I called you, and we had this great conversation. We didn't know each other aside from the social media platform that we were kind of a part of. And ever since then, we've talked, we've connected, you showed my house. So we have that kind of connection as well. And we've bounced things off of each other from a personal perspective and a professional perspective. And I found that, you know, as I'm talking to you and as we almost dealt with you, we won't get into the nuances of all that, but you know, I really resonated with the way you act and the way you present yourself. And I really thought, you know, when I'm building my ecosystem of people that I want part of my center of influence, I thought, you know, professional, aggressive, but not in a bad way, but just knows what he needs to do, knows how he's got to get his clients the best that he could possibly get for them, whether that's on the buy or on the sell side. And I went, this guy needs to be part of my center of influence, because with people like you, you know, it makes everybody else better. And so I asked you to come on board because I want people to know who you are. You know, I want to get a take from you of what the market's doing. The market's been crazy. We know that. I mean, Binbrook 2 years ago had 3 houses for sale, right? And I think you and I were talking like 6 weeks ago, and it went from like 5 houses to 25 houses in like 7 days. It's just blowing up. It's going gangbusters out there. I want the audience to know. So this is going to be on YouTube as well as Spotify. Okay. So for those that are just listening in, Dapper Sasha here is looking dapper as usual. But at any rate, I want people to understand from your perspective what the market's doing. I want them to know who you are, because you know, when you're looking at an agent, you really need to have somebody that you can trust. You and I have had an experience with a common person that you know, they didn't come to you to say, hey, can you help me with this? And it kind of bit them because you do your due diligence, you're on the ball. You have your circle of trusted advisors because you're all about the client and making sure the client is protected, you know, alpha to omega. So I want people to know about you. I want people to understand about you. I also want you to talk to us about what's going on in the market and give us your scope, give us your understanding. And you know what? If you can give me some advice, if I'm a buyer or if I'm a seller, whether I'm first time or, you know, 10th time, that would be amazing.
Cool. Okay. Well, so, you know, thank you for the intro. And I didn't realize I carry that much weight, but thank you.
Well, you're tall. You're tall.
It comes with the territory.
Stature, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
you know, Binbrook as a community, it's kind of like the discovery of what was Ancaster back in the day, what became of Grimsby, the go-to centers for people rushing to get great deals or out of GTA directions. Hamilton as a whole has allowed people to explore into Ancaster, into Binbrook. Mount Hope is growing. And so now with Grimsby, kind of not a saturation, but reaching a threshold where it's not as friendly price-wise.
Right.
Binbrook's become a focal point. the big developments have more room to build. It's attracting new build inquiry. Resale, those who have bought from a new build are reselling and are seeing ridiculous gains.
It's
We talk about that
dumb.
year over year, and even just in short term. Then the location, the Red Hill, the Express, Centennial can get you down to the Link or down to the GO station at Centennial. And just its southern location is removed enough from Hamilton, but yet benefits from all the services and features and value of Hamilton.
Right.
And I think GTA people are discovering that it's not that far out. And that's attractive. So with Binbrook as a community, it's changing. The type of resident is changing. We're seeing a lot of young people with families in tow or families to come. And we're seeing a lot of execs who may have work from home flex because of the COVID changes in work environment. And we're seeing a lot of people who are coming in and realizing that the GTA, or being proximal to Toronto, was not the value they imagined it to be for various reasons.
Right.
And they're just moving out. And so the attractiveness is price, location, geography, part of Hamilton, so services is being supported. But as a whole, there is a whole nuance of country life. And people like that. There's a different feel about the town. You blink, you miss it. It's not that developed.
Yeah.
It's
two stoplights. That's it. That's
it's
all we
not
got.
as cute as Dundas. It doesn't have the big box going on with Ancaster and its quaint history. It doesn't have a deliberate town like Stony Creek or Grimsby.
Right.
But there is a huge, palpable community feel, as we know from social media and stuff. And people just like the openness and the space. And for that same reason is the interest in getting a foot into Binbrook and then maybe getting country property.
So let me ask you about that whole commercial aspect, though. So when my wife and I and kids in tow moved up to Binbrook, it was 6 years ago. And we were told then that there was development slated for 65 by Fletcher in that open field. Some commercial development was going to happen. Haven't seen anything go on there, although they are moving some dirt, but I don't know if that's specifically going to be commercial or commercial residential. I'm not really sure. But there was talk 6 years ago about that, as well as getting a gas station, which we don't know when that's going to happen. How do we see the growth of that community happening from a commercial perspective? We got the home hardware, which is great. We got the Freshco and stuff like that. And the reason why I'm asking is from a marketability perspective. You're a young family and you go, oh, I got to go to the grocery store. I got to go to the hardware store. Guess what? Home hardware is not open on Sunday. So now you got to trek all the way down to, 11 minutes down the road to Home Depot or whatever the case may be, or Canadian Tire on Rymel. But how do you see that? Or do you have any insider knowledge that you're willing to share? We'll keep you indemnified.
It's funny you say that. I just actually spoke to an investor developer 2 nights ago about one of these parcels, and we were brainstorming as to what the town could benefit from, what commercial flex space would be there, whether it's residential top, shops at the bottom, and then what retail would be ideal or missing currently. So that's something that's coming. As far as the adjacent lands, there is land that, again, I spoke to the owner of that land, who is an in-town business, who they've had forever, and they've been looking for developers to come. And although my counsel was, I think you're asking a bit much, fell on deaf ears, and it is what it is, but they're ready to sell and let it go. So it's imminent.
Nice.
The prime corner where the Tractor Supply, and then across the way with Home Depot or Home Hardware.
Yeah.
Smart move on Armstrong's to go and get the franchise location to have Home Hardware in town. Very smart. Yep. And they had existing property, so just add on and grow, and that's perfect. And I think that's going to be another anchor situation. The population is increasing ever so quickly that those sorts of things are going to be far more in need sooner than we think.
Right.
And I believe the whole gas station thing initially was zoning, then it was approval, then it was, well, now that I got the land, I'll just take my time developing it. It's really, I don't care how many people are asking for gas, we'll do it when we're ready.
Right.
Principal decision making by whoever is in charge, but that is initially an Achilles heel to Binbrook because it's so removed, but now everything is coming in. We see along 56 homes that are being reclaimed.
Yep.
And held. We see commercial properties coming up and being rezoned, or residences being rezoned as commercial on Binbrook Road. That just happened last month, 2 months ago. Whereas a standalone building, 2 parcels were sold, commercial, make it, do what you want. So it is evolving, and with that in mind, the investment or small shop in Grimsby might say, we want a satellite location.
Right.
Let's open up in Binbrook.
Right.
Much like Boa, who was in Oakville,
Yep.
came to Binbrook.
I had somebody out in the Niagara region that I know very well. It's where my wife and I got married. He was looking to open up either a takeout only or a sit-in restaurant. Unfortunately, we didn't have any spot for sit-in, so he was looking at takeout. But then the numbers just didn't make sense, and he's like, they're asking way too much for the piece.
It's funny you should say that. The investor conversation I just referred to was exactly that. Something like a Sweet Paradise.
Yep.
In Hamilton.
Yeah, that would
a deli counter.
Yeah.
With takeout food potential.
Yeah.
Or every town that is here to stay and be a town has a pub that is part of its fabric.
Right. Right.
Every town. You name a town, and I can name you a pub that's a go-to place.
That's the go-to.
Waterdown, Ancaster, Grimsby, Stony Creek. Everybody has a town.
Yep.
Pub, place, local feature, whether it's business in, drinks, or whatever. But also with the advent, and I say this with the investor, we had this brainstorming. I said, you're forgetting DoorDash and Uber and door delivery.
Right.
The customer who isn't the pub customer will still order the wings and fries and have it delivered.
Yep.
Or have curbside, because now it's commonplace.
When the neighbors and I get together for, when we all get together and all of a sudden somebody goes, anybody hungry?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're ordering from down by Rymel.
Right.
Upper Stone Church.
Right, because you've exhausted the local and it's a different flavor. And so I think, to your point, that would definitely fly. Even though the numbers at present don't seem like it would work, it will. If you make it a destination, much like the place everyone talks about down in Caledonia by the river, it's a chef who runs his own kind of daily menu.
Okay.
And he makes a la carte stuff for what the catch or the feature of the day is. And everyone says, worth the drive, gotta go.
Yeah.
Because it's a destination.
That's right.
So.
Dough box. Let's go. Binbrook. Come on, Tony, let's go. I'm tagging you in this. You're going to get tagged. You're going to know. So
the ideas are turning. There are people considering. There are people looking, and they want to be first in because the land's available.
Right.
And you want to be the footprint before then you're just looking for a space, because then it's going to be expensive.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So it is coming.
So, okay. So, we're talking about buying, selling, the craziness that's happening, coming in, firm offers.
Yeah.
There's no home inspections anymore. There's no pre-approvals. There's no financing conditions.
Yeah.
There's no nothing.
How do we go?
What do you see? Like, what do you think? How do you feel as the guy that's supposed to sit there with the client and say, okay, I'm going to help you find that dream home, whether it's today, 5 years, or for the rest of your life, but I'm also going to protect you.
Yeah, and it all comes down to the word I use ad nauseum is preparation.
Right.
Do your homework, get organized. And my clients initially don't know what that means, but a lot of it's because I do it for them. Well, I might reach out to you to inquire about, hey, situation A, B, and C, what's your take? Yeah, that could work if we have this. Okay, cool. Let me get back to you. Or I'll reach out to an inspector and say, hey, upon a visit or my knowledge or my cursory review, I'm looking at these handful of things. What do you think? He goes, you know what? It's not the end of the world, and here's what I would look deeper for or ask questions about.
Right.
Great. So it's in all that preparatory, investigatory kind of questioning from those who support me. I then position the client in better understanding to be more aggressive but more prepared, and know what's worth paying for, and also know what might be weighing the cost benefit once ownership takes place,
Right.
what's on their palette to deal with later. And so as a buyer, even though you look better on paper not having conditions,
Right.
the conditions sometimes may not be necessary if you're buying smart.
Yep.
They may not be necessary if you tap into good information from professionals. But as a buyer, the feel good knowing you can walk away is, it's not what a condition is there for. A condition is there for to get you time to do your due diligence. People are using conditions for the wrong reason, I think. I think they're just putting in offers because they get in offer frenzy.
Right.
Oh, we can walk away. We have a finance condition with no real intent on really winning it. And I counsel people to not do that because there will be one contractual person on the other side who will hold you to it.
Right.
And it's not going to be nice. So that is I've suffered that pain recently in a transaction
Oh, no.
where the deal went south, being forced and pushed into negotiation with a potential buyer, told me all the wonderful things that seemed to check the boxes, and I queried hard and pushed and examined both buyer and buyer agent on who they really are and what they're representing. And at the 12th hour, I said, no, we don't want to bring deposit after going firm and accepting an offer. And it got a little testy, but
Sure.
it happens.
Yeah.
And in his inside voice, which became the outside voice, he shared he was putting another offer somewhere else simultaneously.
Ah.
To which I pretended he didn't say that. And then later I realized he didn't realize he did, but he did. And that's why he pulled out on our deal. So funny things happen. Protect your client, be organized, be prepared, so that you as a buyer, on my side, if I represent, you're in good standing. But as a selling agent, if these are my selling clients, that push, criticize, be critical, understand the motivation, understand the money, understand where they're moving, what they're asking, get detail, because it's in those hidden layers as you peel the onion. The true essence of who's before you comes out, whether they want to hide it on you or not.
So what you're telling me is that if I go hire a real estate agent and I say, hey, I'm going to list my house, or hey, I want to buy a house, or whatever the case may be, an investment property or
Yeah.
primary residence, and I got said agent not asking me a plethora of questions to understand who I am, I should probably go,
Yeah.
Because I find in my industry, if you ask questions, hey, oh, so you need a mortgage or you need some financing, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You know, some people say, well, what's your interest rate? Or, you know, what can I get for this? Well, it depends. You know, it depends on your credit score. It depends on this. It depends on that. Can we get some documentation? That can I look? Well, I went over to Bob, and Bob didn't ask me for anything. He just said yes.
Yeah.
Why are you asking me for so much information? And it's because you're trying to do your due diligence up front.
Yeah.
So, you know, what I got from what you said is if your representative is not asking you enough questions to understand you, your purpose, your future, your likes, dislikes, all the little nuances, like you said, peel the onion back, you probably should interview a few more people to represent you. You know, I think it's worth noting that, you know, so in a previous podcast, I had Matt Campbell from Bayfront Law, and he actually said something. He said, you know, make sure your team is working for you and your team is aligned. And the team consists of legal, financial, real estate, whoever. And that's something that, you know, you just really touched upon without touching upon it. You have your little ecosystem of people that you go to, your home inspector, et cetera, and you get that preparation work done for your client, which I think is pretty important. I mean, I've done enough transactions in my life, on my 7th home, but the one thing that real estate agents will say is, oh, I got a stager, I got a photographer, but nobody says I have a mover. Nobody says I have a lawyer. I've not had one person say I have a mortgage person. I have not had one person say I have a home inspector you should go to because they know, or even, you know what, you're going to need an appraisal on this property. Let me see if my appraiser, who are you looking to deal with from your financing perspective? Let me see if they can do that. You and I know somebody who bought firm on a property and the appraisal came back at 70 grand less than the purchase value. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. In my world, that's a problem. In your world,
Yeah, that is a problem too.
you know, it's like, you should have listened,
Yeah.
right? Heed the advice that's being given. And a lot of times it's the advice people don't want to hear.
Right.
It's all that stuff. They're like, no, just give me the yes.
Yeah.
Give me the green light. I just want to go, right?
Yeah, the yes man.
The yes man. So when you're dealing with clients and they just want the yes man, like, what do you do?
So typically in listing presentation, there are listing specialists whose job is to put the sign, get the contract, and make everybody feel, oh my God, this is exciting, I'm going to market.
Right.
And you'll sell what you can do and do what you can say and say what you can want to get the deal and get the contract. Trouble is, they're on to the next listing.
Yeah.
And there's
Burn and turn.
people in behind that do the stuff who really don't know you. They're just doing the process that they've been commissioned to do because said listing agent's onto another property. If a strong team has a good working environment and a good process, it shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
Let's just say with hectic times leads to mistakes and problems and things being skipped, like the market current. So listing agents may not do a deep enough dive to know value, to know what an offer might look like, to know where the offers are coming from, recent sales, critical comparison, room to room, size to size, detail to detail, so that they can give good information and then set expectations, right? As a seller, what am I getting for this?
Right.
So all that preparation has to be done so that there's no surprises. However, with those who end up choosing to hear the stuff they want to hear through a yes man, let's say a listing agent that makes it all seem really rosy. The trouble is, then you don't get the showing results. Then you don't get the open house interest. Then you don't have the inquiries. You don't have the offers. And the natural knee-jerk reflex is, oh, we might need to reduce, or we'll have to adjust the price, or we'll have to do this, we'll have to. Now it's always a peeling back of the anticipation and the ask price, because that's the only intangible that you don't necessarily touch. You go high, and hopefully you're going to get an offer, or you go really crazy low, and hopefully you're going to get an overbid.
Right.
But people get tired and can see through that. And so what's the alternative play?
You know, I love those sold for 30% over asking.
Yeah.
Was it priced right to begin with?
Yeah,
and was the real number like 5% over asking? Or
Yeah.
10%,
No,
you
and
know
this
what I
is
mean?
this is exactly it, because
Great marketing.
it's used for the next pitch to the next
Exactly.
leverage. My challenge is that if a client wants to sell and net as much as they can, then know the true value of your home, and then if you get above X,
Beauty.
perfect.
Yep.
Rather than go 3 minus X and want to get 1 over again. And
Right.
what's the point?
Yeah.
There's no point.
Too much smoke and mirrors.
And right in reality, you get offers that aren't meant to be on the table. You get agents that fill your ear with promise that they can't deliver.
Right.
You have clients who are being presented as firm buyers with a 90-day close, giving you time to buy, and all of a sudden, on the 85th day, hey, listen, we got to think, can
We
we
got a problem.
extend?
Yeah.
Or my guy's not able to close, and all of a sudden it falls apart. So being careful as a listing agent and as in dealing with customers, getting the sale is not the end of the parade. There's a whole lot that goes on
absolutely.
behind, and that still can come unraveled.
You know, my neighbor across the street, so they sold their house October, I think it was, last year. And they had a December close. And then all of a sudden it was, so the week of close, on the buyer side, everybody went silent. They went dark. Nobody could get a hold of the lawyer, the representing agent, nobody.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they go, we have a problem on our end. We need an extension for 2 more weeks. My neighbors had already bought a place. They were already scheduled to move. It was just, they needed to go get bridge financing.
Yeah.
And it was just like on the last day, like, what are you doing to me?
Yeah.
Preparation is key.
Yeah.
And I think people really undervalue preparation. I mean, so much so, forget about the financial aspect for a hot minute, right? I think people underestimate the value of a real estate agent that is going to, really, again, tell you the things you don't necessarily want to hear.
Yeah.
But that's because they're being honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And they are going to do their homework and due diligence to go, listen, you may not think that, the house listed at 2,500 square feet is actually 2,400 on the negative side, or 2,600 on the positive side, depending on the price point. You may not think that that's important, or you may not think that, the 48 by 120 is actually 40 by, 117 or whatever. You may not think that, but that's important, and here's why. Because this is how we're going to position this if you really like the house. Mm-hmm. This is how we're going to go. I think people really undervalue that, and I think they looked at that as a nuisance. I really do, because I hear more and more people an old manager of mine used to say the devil's in the details. Mm-hmm. The unintended consequences was another thing that he said, but the devil's in the details. Mm-hmm. And I think in this day and age, especially with what's gone on lately, people don't want the details because they're afraid of what, when you peel back the onion, what that means. Yeah. And that's scary. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but when somebody calls me up and they don't want to know, they're just like, just tell me the answer. Just forget about the math and just give me the bottom line. What is it? I don't know.
Yeah, and while you're sharing that with your customers as a strategy or what the play is going to be, often through a buyer's agent conversation, if I'm a buyer's agent, I will have the warm-up conversation with the listing agent to set grounds and the rules and kind of get him on my wavelength as to how I'm going to approach working with him, so that not in any way kind of ruffle feathers, but make sure that he's being fully disclosing, that he's being telling what I need to know and answer my questions with facts so I can relay back to customer. But then also on the selling side, when I get inquiries, making people realize that we're here to sell a house. We know what the market value is. If you guys are capable to come to that, then great. We have an opportunity to work together. If not, it's really not meant for you, because there is no deal when A, B, and C sold for X.
Your approach, when I peel it all back, for me, and maybe I'm wrong, so correct me, it's pretty simple. You want to go in with a position of power.
Yeah, okay? For both sides.
On both sides, whether you're buying or selling, you want to go in and you go say, listen, this is the ground rules. Mm-hmm. This is how I'm going to play. If you want to play in the sandbox with me, this is respectful, but these are my rules, and this is what I need to know, and I need to do this for my buyers or my sellers or whatever. And I think that is an intangible quality that you have, and that's when I picked up on, when you came and did the walkthrough of our house, I'm like, you know what, this guy's not going to bleep around. You know what I mean? He's not. He's going to protect me, and he's going to give me the honest. Yeah. And I may not want the honest, but at least it's the honest. And at least I know. And it's not this, fairy dust and unicorns coming out of his ass and all this other shit, right? Yeah. It's basically you being, listen, I'm going to give you the raw. And because you and I had a conversation a couple weeks back, I think it was, and you were like, what am I competing against? The 1%ers? The 1% commission guys? If that's what you want, go. I'm not. You know, and you have different strategies around that, whatever, to kind of combat that. But your ability to, take a holistic approach, you look at everything, you're a detail-oriented guy, you really like to know all the information. That's actually, it's cool. It's refreshing. You're one suave SOB, let me tell you. You are one suave guy.
So
you got some swagger. I mean, you walked into my house and I'm like, damn, like the archangels were, they were singing.
Edit.
But let's be honest, though. I was like, okay, first of all, you're like 6'3" or something, 6'2", and you used to work out. You used to have a fitness empire
a little bit
before you got into real estate. So you got a presence about you, and you're very calm and methodical. Okay, which it should provoke your client to go, this guy knows his shit, because he's not just spewing, he's thinking, and he's churning, and he's going, okay, and no, I'm going to really, you pick your words. Sometimes you use big words that I can't spell. Actually, I don't like that, because that's not fair. But I think, you know what? If people want to be successful in the real estate market and they're going to be represented by somebody, they need to know that those are the kind of qualities you need and you want. If you don't get them, I mean, in my industry, 12,000 new agents last year.
Wow.
12,000. I don't know about the real estate market, but I'm sure it's there.
Yeah, and you touched on some things that actually bring to mind why I present the way I do. KW, as a larger entity, is huge on training and preparation of their agents. So they invest in the agent, so the agent's business grows, and as a result, KW grows.
Sure.
Simple formula.
And you win, they win.
Right. So me being confident and comfortable in my skin to kind of present that image is through training, but also learning from mentors that I have harnessed their support. And then in you mentioned position of power, that is a negotiating tactic. So being certified in negotiating, one of the best things is to put your card down first.
Yep.
Because they have to react to that. And in the reaction is your tell.
Your tell, that's right. Do
So-
they flinch? Do they not flinch?
Right. So me coming in on a phone call with you as a listing agent, I'm telling you what I want. And what your response is automatically showcases to me that you do or don't know how to represent. And if you come back strong, then I say, good, this is going to be fun. If it's the other way around, if I'm the listing agent and you come to me with some scenario, hey, my client is X, do you think you can do that? They're trying to weaken my position for you, and that's not going to happen. However, I can help them be better a buyer if they meet this criteria, because those are your criteria. My client's looking for A, B, and C as a buyer. Can you document that for me, improve it to me, and then I'll present that to my customer, and they might actually entertain your offer.
Help me help you.
Right. So I do. And to that point, I often educate buyer agents so they go back like this knowledgeable wizard who just dumps on their buyers about the home I'm selling, and he hasn't had that experience to digest the information, so I give it to him. He hasn't had the information that as a listing client that I'm now transferring to them. So now the client becomes even more in love because they have more information.
Right.
What's happened is it's not about price anymore. It's about all the detail.
Right.
So all the feature and the love on the buyer side grows. The emotion grows.
Yeah.
So now they want it more, and now the price differential is buffered by the love. And my job becomes a whole lot easier because they love the house.
The emotional attachment. That's right. The emotional attachment bears no price.
Strategy in presenting the property, negotiation, positioning right from the beginning, and more importantly, on the flip side, to an unprepared agent, you mentioned the 1%, without tarnishing any brand. That common client that we know who bought a property well above and appraised poorly, was a listing agent of the such. It was a low commission representation. And unfortunately, without knowing them directly, whether they vetted every buyer's capacity to should they put that number on paper, if that offer came to me and say, are you guys pre-approved?
Right.
Do you have a commitment letter? Do you really need 90 days? Or I don't like the length of time. I'm going to push back. Can we do 30? And all of a sudden the wheels fall off the wagon. You know that they're not firm. They still have to do their work. And that's scary.
No, it's...
So to your point, the agent on the other side that may be just transactional, taking offers, presenting, saying you win, hands down, handshake's good, not good. Because it leaves a lot of uncertainty, and clients, although love the fact they're saving a commission, could have a lost sale and time lost on market. If you sold in February at the height of crazy and took a 90-day close and it's now April, prices have dropped and corrected. You just lost that awesome sale.
Well, it's interesting.
And rates have gone up. Now you're buying in higher rates.
Oh, it's just crazy. Everything is just, and I think you've seen my posts. Every day we are getting a new email. Monday, Tuesday. So it was Tuesday. I counted my emails. 19 emails of rate increases from 19 different lenders. Some of those lenders, so today's Friday. It's Friday. we're filming on a Friday. Some of those lenders already increased rates this week.
Wow.
Again, so they've had 2 rate increases this week. It is absolutely ridiculous what's going on in the market. And that's the scary part is, like you said, you overbought and now you're overpaying on this side. So you got double whammied. And then, that common client wants to potentially upgrade in 3 years. And it's like, guys, settle. And they're a young family.
Yeah.
And that scares me even more.
Yeah.
It's for them. It has nothing to do with me. But, I think I know where I resonate with you is that you are not afraid to be honest with that client. You're not afraid to say, listen, because this is the approach I have. I'm your co-pilot. You're flying the plane, you're driving the bus, whatever. You make that decision. I'm just here to give you the map and go, maybe we should go this way instead of that way, but your decision. And I believe you have that same personality. Listen, I don't know if you want to put in an offer for that much because I don't think it's worth that value, and this is why, and here's the comparables. Nope, Sasha, I want to put it, I don't think it's the right move. Nope, I'm good. Well, okay, if that's what you want.
Right.
You're the client. I represent you.
Right.
I'm trying to guide you. Because I think you've seen enough in your, I won't say how old you are, in your time, owning a business. He's young. He's a young 50 plus. We'll call it that, okay? He looks like he's 36, but he's a young 50 plus. But, owning your own business, being your own guy, your own entrepreneur now, and being, I look at you, and when I see what you post on the social media, on the groups that we're a part of, I'm like, this guy knows his shit. Like again, intelligent, methodical, trained, understands, just doesn't throw out crap for the sake of, I want the Sasha brand to be out there. You have knowledge and information, which is, I know you bring that to your clients. And that's why I wanted you on this podcast, because for me, you're part of my ecosystem that if somebody said to me, I'm going to buy this property and I'm going to sell, I need to know what I'm qualified for, whatever the case may be. Oh, do you have a real estate agent? No, why? You got to give this guy a call. He's going to be the best that you need on whatever side you bring him in for. And to me, that's because you take that approach of, I'm going to guide you. Ultimately, it's your decision, but I'm going to guide you, whether it's good information that you like to hear or good information that you don't like to hear. You're going to get the information. And you are methodical. You did your research.
It's engineering brain.
Well, you did research, not your one. You did research on the one property, and you were telling me, oh, this is off, this is off, this is off, this is off. I don't know if it's going to go for that much, whatever. And it's like, oh, okay. Hey, client, you may want to take this into consideration. And look what happened, right? Yeah. And it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. But those are real life examples that you and I can bring to our respective clients to say, look, it's really important that you do this. We had that one dialogue with that other property that you have, and the hard facts of what is out there and what's going on. At least. Because the last thing you want is you don't want somebody coming in with a firm offer and then all of a sudden they can't close, and then you're in this whole BS of a pickle of suing and bullshit and whatever, right? You don't want that.
Yeah, so. And it's funny. Clients are excited. Excitement leads to stress, and then stress leads to unbridled emotion, and both of us, can get a lot of flack sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
Well.
I do. Unfortunately, I do.
So one unique thing Keller does when we first join on, they do a character profile.
Yeah.
And one thing for me that was off the charts.
Besides your looks?
They don't measure looks.
Oh.
Was my degree of composure and calm. And so you brought that up, and interesting that that's palpable and perceivable right away, because I know where it comes from. But my assessor, who's another mentor, she tells me, Sasha, that is something that we can't teach. It's innate.
Right.
And that is going to serve you so profoundly well, because in the height of negotiations, your clients are going to be doing, oh, what's going on? I'll just say, I got it. And they'll just go, whew. Or most recently, a sale where it got dark and we had crickets for a while. I said to my clients, I will get you the number you need. No, let's just sell it for less. No, absolutely not. I am not going to do that. And we took another 3 more days, and I got them the number they had to have because they're closing on a property across the country. And they were frantic, the wife more so than Mr. But the reality was, he says to me, how are you so cool with this? I said, because I believe I know and I can tell that this is coming together. Let me handle it.
Right.
And it's in that calm that both buyer and seller can rest their trust in me, but more importantly, I don't do it as a spin of the wheel. It's all been planned and calculated and analyzed to death. So the event is inevitable.
And you know what's funny is that if people are not aware enough of where it comes from, or are, I'll say, astute enough to kind of look at it and go, why is he like this? That comes across as arrogance.
Called arrogant many times.
Yeah.
Confidence confused with arrogance. I call it determination. I won't be shaken.
Beauty.
I won't be stirred. I'm stoic. I'm not going to the faint of heart. And I'll give you the insight. This is really a private share. My dad was a government-sponsored amateur pro boxer in Europe, and he was the champ. He was the guy. Traveled all through Europe. Facial recognition. We had red carpet wherever we went. So, as everybody knows, in the boxing ring, there's the referee's instructions and the stare-off. Boxers learn really quickly 2 things. 1, show no emotion, or show extreme hate for the opponents to incite fear.
Right.
My dad was the former. He was just blank because he was so confident. He was so calm and chill that the others thought he was going to be an easy ride.
Right.
Oh, God, how
or
wrong.
Or batshit crazy, one or the other.
Or how wrong they were. So his passivity, his calm, and his composure is something I witnessed growing up.
Right.
At the height of my dad's anger, it's the calm before the storm. That phrase has meaning in my world.
Right. I can imagine.
So being poker faced or calm or cool or relaxed is just come by exposure. That he has inbred that kind of display in the most intense times.
Sure. You know, it's funny because I got an 8-year-old and 4-year-old, as you know, and it's when Dad doesn't respond, then it's like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just the look. It's like,
yeah. Oh no, my
no.
dad could eviscerate me looking at me.
Yeah, just like. But you know what? When I was growing up, it was never when my dad flew off the handle that I was remorseful. It was when he was quiet and disappointed.
Yeah.
That I went, oh no, I really screwed up. If he flew off the handle, it's like, whatever. He's gonna yell at me, take away my, Commodore 64 or whatever the hell it was, right? My Game Boy. But when he was just glass on water kind of thing, glassy water, and just you're like, oh shit, I disappointed him.
Yeah.
And that sucked.
Even though referrals are sometimes automatic. Oh, I got a guy. Sometimes it's got to fit.
Yeah.
Because you know who the client is and how they are, and as you present them to you or to whoever, you know what the delivery is going to be, and say, yeah, that's definitely someone that they should talk to. Much like recently, someone who doesn't go by their stage name called you, and I said, you're going to have a great conversation with him. Please call him.
Yeah. No, and you know what? But again, I actually enjoy the conversation. Yeah. If I pull out my phone, you know how you can pin people on your SMS?
Yep.
You're pinned to the top. You're at the top, brother. You're there. And I love it because it's like, Sasha, I could just, boom, hey, what's up? And you know what? Now no masks. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
So now, you know what? Let's get, the weather's turning. Yeah. Well, I hear we're going to have a...
It's okay. I love snow.
Keep it, brother. You can keep it. No, but you know what though? We're gonna have patio time. It's gonna be great. I enjoy our conversations. I enjoy your professionalism. I enjoy your insight. I've had to lean on you for advice. Mm-hmm. You've called me for advice. Mm-hmm. That to me is like top notch, and that to me, right now in my world, means more than the actual lead, because now it's still.
There's human in there.
Right. Well, you called me and said, I need to pick your brain.
Yeah.
What would you do? And I'm like, whoa, okay. So we're good. Like, this is a friend.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, Sasha, I need to call you and pick your brain now. I'm returning the favor.
Yeah.
What do you think? And you gave me the answer, and it wasn't the answer I was looking for or the answer I wanted. It was the answer, and I had to decode that into what I felt was appropriate for the situation, and that I appreciate. And you know, it's individuals like you that I'm going to gear this podcast to. Number one, because I trust you, so I hope anybody I talk to will trust you.
Right.
Number two, I know you do a great job for your clients. I've bore witness to that. Even that one example that you said, just don't worry, this is going to happen. I was part of that whole scenario from a different perspective, and it did happen. You were cool, calm, and collected, and it did happen. And I celebrate your successes. I celebrate your professionalism, and I celebrate our friendship that just started like a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's climbed quick.
It has. So
It's genuine.
No, it is, and because there's no expectations. You know, I'm not friends with Sasha. He's not friends with Eric. You know, because we're going to get something out of it except the friendship. You know, and that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And that comes across between clients that become sandwiched between the transactioning parties, whether it's many spokes in the wheels that have it in my business. The Sasha Homes Real Estate Group, the group is actually those who support me.
Right.
Most entities call themselves a group or a team is because it's just agents. But my group is those who make me rise above and compete with anybody out there head to head. And it's the power that that group brings that on a minute's call, I can call a lawyer right now, I can call you right now, and they know my calls come in, they will pick up, and knowing that it's flowing through me to a client's need.
Right.
And that's the value that clients often want. And for me to be able to deliver that is, again, through the trust, that's example, but also through understanding the business or the model, right? And that you mentioned pushy or salesy or making someone try. I got that just the other day from an investor who's savvy and wise, and he says, you know what I like? It's refreshing. You're not pushing me to buy this. I go, you know what? If I were you, I wouldn't buy it either. He goes, why'd you show it to me? Because you asked. But you proceed to tell me everything's wrong with it. I said, because I notice it.
Right.
And if you still want it, you want to fix it, that's your call.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you, because you want to go in firm, no conditions, here's the ugly you need to know. Yeah, right? So that honesty.
Take the lipstick off the pig.
So if he happens to be someone that flows through you for finance, he's going to say, hey, Sasha told me A, B, and C, and I'll give you the summary as well. So it's heard from both sides. And it's that disclosure that is making for an open, nothing hidden, nothing buried, nothing left aside, nothing unraveled, so that at the last hour you say, hey, I didn't know that. I'm not that guy.
Well, we had that conversation just with that one property you got listed. You gave me the A to Z on it. I called the client. And we had very open dialogue. And that way it's, again, to your point, the client knows that there's a team.
Yep.
It's not, I'm going to my mortgage guy, I'm going to my lawyer, I'm going to the realtor. It's, no, this is part of the Sasha Homes Group in this particular situation.
To maintain power and control of that is privileged, and it's beneficial, but it's also hands down the win in getting last minute stuff done.
Yep.
You doing a favor to maybe call in a favor at a bank or a lender or underwriter, or getting a date for an appraisal, whatever it is.
Whatever it may be.
Those are the little things that make things stay on track as a deal.
Folks, if you're buying or selling, you really need to heed this advice. I mean, really honestly speaking, you need to know that you need to have a team. Yeah. And if you're in the area, and the area is pretty big because you just did something in BC, okay, and in Niagara Falls, so you're like global.
I just sold in Serbia actually this week.
Did it go through? Well, congratulations.
Condo in Serbia.
So now it's truly global. If you're in the market, or you just want to get an assessment of what you can and cannot do, because maybe you're planning 6, 9, 12 months away. You know things are maybe your wife is pregnant and it's your 15th child and you need to upgrade, whatever the case may be. I'm going to tell you right now. Give this man a call. You want a consummate professional. You want somebody who's going to do their due diligence A to Z, regardless if you like it or not. You got to give Sasa Stevanovic a call. You got to give him a call. Keller Williams, signature, SashaHomes.ca. Give him a call. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Thanks, guys. This is Houses to Homes with Eric SPADA.